Hello everybody and welcome back for more Let's Play Pokemon Crystal. In the last episode, we did a very long, very grueling battle against Whitney, but we got the playing badge for it for all of our efforts. In this episode, I'm back here at Route 34, and I'm talking to this police officer right here because since it's nighttime, then we get to battle these because police officers can only be battled at nighttime, so I figured to go ahead and show them off here. So police officers, they tend to use Pokemon like Growlithe that are well known for being like, well, they kind of have a reputation for being police dogs, and since they have a good kind of a sense of smell and all that, and they can just ward off intruders and trespassers, and so that's basically what the police officers are for. And I think this is our first time seeing Growlithe. So yeah, like I said, Growlithe is basically an alternative. Like if you didn't choose Cyndaquil, then Growlithe can actually be found like very early in Crystal in that patch of grass. It's basically like I would say its Evolved Form Arcanine would be my second favorite fire type because my most favorite is definitely Cyndaquil's final Evolved Form, but Arcanine I really do like a lot. Gen 1 had a pretty lacking move pool though, and of course like it does learn Flamethrower like very late. Like for one thing, like Growlithe will learn Flamethrower at a very late level 50, or I think it's level 49. But if you were to evolve it to Arcanine right away, because it does evolve with a Firestone, and if you evolve right away, then it won't be able to learn Flamethrower at all. So you wanna wait till then. I know later gens actually kind of mitigated that issue where it'll learn Flamethrower pretty early. But yeah, you're gonna want to make sure to just give it a little wait time. And yeah, he was saying that the radio changes the moods of the wild Pokemon. I've already explained what the radio does because we got the add-on for Pokegear. And so let's go ahead and head on upwards. So there's these two trainers over here. I'm just gonna go ahead and just battle them each one by one because I know that if I just go in between, then they'll just because I'll just be get right into the battle. I know like some gens like with double battles being introduced, and if you just go in between the trainers, then you'll just go right into the double battle itself. So anyway, so these are the jugglers returning from Gen 1. They are kind of random in a way where like they'll just use like whichever type there is. They're actually using Voltorb for one thing, and they and another random thing is that they just go like for different levels, and we just battled level 2 Voltorb. Yeah, a level 2 and then a level 6 Voltorb. Like even like after a long struggle against Whitney and her Miltank, then now we're just going by these low level Pokemon. And this is actually the one thing I was going to talk about. Like one of the biggest problems about Gen 2 is that there's this leveling curve issue. Like it's especially noticeable after we go past Gym 4. That then that's when like say for instance back in Gen 1 we usually battle the trainers and their Pokemon that corresponds to which level we're currently at. For some weird ass reason, after Gym 4, then our Pokemon would have been like level 20 by this point. But then we're battling like the trainers Pokemon that are like 10 levels before, so like we just be battling level 10 for those, and then it continues on throughout the rest of the game. So yeah, because of that, then this makes the whole game itself real easy. Like you're basically just one-shotting these Pokemon, and so yeah, because of that, then there's not very much of a challenge to those trainers. So it does make the Johto region very much easy. So so yeah, this juggler here, like he wants to give us a phone number, but unfortunately the Pokegear number, our Pokegear is already full of numbers, and I actually found out it wasn't 20, it was actually 10. Yeah, I can only carry up to 10 phone numbers, which is honestly very short if you ask me. So because of that, we're probably gonna have to get rid of one of the numbers. Yeah, right now I'm actually just gonna go ahead and delete Joey's number because well, I mean, I guess some of you guys actually would probably be yelling at me because you want to see him brag about his super cool top percentage Rattata, but I don't want to hear any of that because I don't give a shit. So, so we're just gonna go ahead and delete those. I know. Well, for one thing, even after you delete those, you can always re-register them, at least to my knowledge. So, but if you want to get like a new number, then you're gonna have to delete one of those. What I'm gonna do though is that I know some of the numbers I'll actually just be deleting some of the ones that will tell you swarming Pokemon, but that's only going to be for say, once I feel like I'm going to go catch some Pokemon and fill up my Pokedex, then I'll just be re-registering those numbers. But for now, I'll just holding off on those. The only trainers I won't delete though are the ones that will give you Elemental Stones. Those ones I'm still going to keep because I'm going to need those, especially with Well, especially, with Picnic or Gina, because, she'll give us a Leaf Stone for Audrey. And we have another Fire Breather to battle. And this is our first, and Daruka wants to learn Self-Destruct. We are not going to do that, because Self-Destruct, as for what you already know by now, it damages a Pokemon very heavily, but of course it has the risk of your Pokemon actually fainting itself. So I don't want to do that because I don't like using those moves. I don't want to do the suicidal kind of moves. Anyway, so this here is Magmar, aka Butt Duck. Yeah, I'm sorry guys. I can never unsee that anymore. Magmar has such a wide array of using any kind of move. Like, not only does it learn any kind of its own fire type attacks, but it knows like a good combination of moves, like either Thunder Punch or even Psychic actually. So it's actually a good Pokemon to use, for your team, not only for fire type coverage. I can't exactly remember where Magmar can be found. I doubt it can ever be found somewhere in Johto. But Magmar is very usable for the to have in your team as well, for its wide array of move pools. It also does have a pre-evolve form in Magby, which of course you can actually just if you want to attain that Magby, then you just breed that Magmar. And then Gen 4, it gets even better because it does get an evolution in Magmortar, which it gets even better stats, and of course with a wide array of the move pools as well. I also never got to mention like more about the friendship system, or actually more baby Pokemon in general, because we encountered some other Pokemon. Other Pokemon like Jigglypuff and Clefairy have their own baby Pokemon as well. Like, for Jigglypuff, there is Igglybuff, and then for Clefairy, it's Cleffa. And then I already explained about Pikachu, where it has, with, Pichu. And this is our first encounter with Venonat. Venonat, it's actually, it's actually a little better in terms of, with bug types. Well, especially more so with its evolved form. I think it's able to learn Psychic. And it's also a bug and poison type, so there's a little bit of an advantage right there. And I think he's also going to give us the phone number. This is one of the trainers where he tells you, well, he gives you any kind of swarming Pokemon information. So that's another one of these trainers you want to keep, well, especially for Pokedex completion. But anyways, so going back a bit on the evolutions and whatnot, or the friendship system. There are some Pokemon that will evolve if it reaches a high number of friendship. So, like, if you have some baby Pokemon, like with Pichu, Clefairy, or Igglybuff, or Magby, they will evolve into their secondary stage once they reach a high level of friendship. And I don't think such an item like this exists in this gen, because there's the item called the Soothe Bell, but I think that's a thing in Gen 3, or was it Gen 4? I can't exactly remember, because that actually does increase the friendship with your, it basically doubles your friendship points with your Pokemon. And of course, if you want to speed this up, then there's also the hair salons, but that costs Pokédollars. I know there's also one more method of raising the friendship from a certain character, but that's going to be like, well, I would say post-game at this point, because, once we get to that kind of post-game, then we'll be able to do that. It's actually for free, though, and I think it only occurs on certain times or certain days. So for that, I could actually just wait until then. Or, if I was really that desperate, I can just go to those hair salons to raise up the friendship. But yeah, that's basically what it is. And there's also some other Pokemon that will reach their final stages with a high level friendship as well, like Golbat, for instance. And something we'll probably see with Fuckbag. But more on that once we get to that there. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and get to another area once we go through this gate. I also do want to say, in HeartGold and SoulSilver, they had this new kind of feature over at the west side of the gate. It's called the Pokeathlon Dome, and what it is that it's basically a little distraction. So if you want to, it's basically all for the sake of bragging rights, but it's basically like this Olympic kind of mini game. It's basically just mini games, or just the 3 rounds of these Olympic mini games. Basically what you do is that if you win each of these with your Pokemon, then you get some points for that, and you can also use those points to get some prizes, and also where you'll have access to these elemental stones early. So that way there, if you want to get those elemental stones, you can just grind up on those points, and then you get those prizes in that way. So it's actually the best way to do so. But overall, it's just a neat little distraction for that, and the final trophy for that is just for bragging rights. But it's a nice little thing to add there. All right, so here we are at the national park, and also if you talk to this lady here, she's gonna give us the quick claw, and I'm gonna give the quick claw over to Daruk because main reason is because when your Pokemon holds the Quick Claw, it sometimes has a chance for the Pokemon to go first, and it's actually the best for Pokemon that have a very low speed stat, and so Daruk also has a low speed stat as well, so that's when we're gonna give the Quick Claw over to him. So that way there he'll be able to have a chance to attack first. So anyway, so here we are at the national park, and I gotta say, oh my god, I love this track that's playing right now. Oh, it's so beautiful. The musical scores and just, the instrumentation for that, it's just amazing. I love it so much. But I want to say, though, HeartGold, SoulSilver, oh god. I love HeartGold and SoulSilver's version of the National Park theme. The piano, oh man, it's like a piano orgasm that I'm just listening to here. It's just, it's definitely without a doubt one of the most beautiful, one of the most gorgeous tracks in Gen 2 that I've ever heard, or in HeartGold and SoulSilver, and to the point that's my absolute favorite track in HeartGold and SoulSilver. Out of all the remixes that the remakes gave the soundtrack for Gen 2, National Park has to be my absolute favorite. It's so fucking beautiful. I love it so much. I know that you'll be listening to it once I post the end screen image for that, but I'm still gonna go ahead and I'm gonna post a link to it in the description for you guys to listen to the soundtrack. You need to listen to that if you haven't already. You absolutely have to. It's so beautiful. You'll love it. You'll thank me for this one just by listening to it. It's such a good track. And even in the original, it's just beautiful regardless. It just fills me with nostalgia because I've been saying beforehand that Gen 2 is the one game, or Pokemon Gold and Silver are the the kind of games that I have the most nostalgic memories for as a kid. And just listen, and the soundtrack for Gen 2, it's such a great soundtrack, and I love it so much, and it just really fills me with nostalgia. Just every time I listen to it, just oh god, I'm sorry guys, I'm just right. It's just such a beautiful track. I really love it. So anyway, so the national park, this is actually where you'll encounter some certain Pokemon, and there's also 4 trainers. Only the tall grass though. So there's just about 4 trainers to battle here. We actually just about the female variants of the Pokefans. They're very much the same as the male Pokefans. Only they just basically use the more cutesy Pokemon, or just the rare ones. And look at that, our first guy with Raichu. Raichu is, of course, like I was saying, my favorite electric type. I love Raichu. Because I know, with Pikachu being the series mascot, but, Raichu's a lot better. And, I never understood why that they never have Raichu for Smash Brothers, because they only have Pikachu and Pichu, but no Raichu. It's like, what the hell? Why? I understand. I'll never for the life of me understand to this day. And they still never put in Raichu for Smash Ultimate. They still kept Pichu. I was hoping they would actually add that, but it's already over now since they added Sora to Smash Ultimate, which would be the last character for that. So yeah. I can see here there's also a longer grass right here. If you're in longer grass, it actually it has a higher encounter rate for the for any random encounters than the regular tall grass. So that's one thing to keep in mind about though. So of course, if you don't really want to go and have these encounters a lot, then you just use the repels. And this here is Oddish. Oddish is well, for one thing, it's considered to be the counterpart for Bellsprout. However, though, what was previously version exclusive back in Gen 1, Oddish and Bellsprout are now time exclusive. So whereas Bellsprout's encountered during the day, Oddish is encountered at nighttime. So if you want to go for Oddish, then you want to wait till nighttime for those. Not only, and also for one thing, unlike with the Bellsprout line, however, like while Oddish has an evolution all the way with the Leaf Zone, its evolved form Gloom, actually it does have an alternative evolution. So besides evolving into a Vileplume, there's another elemental stone called the Sunstone. And so by using the Sunstone on Gloom, it'll evolve into Blossom, which actually loses its poison type, and it becomes a pure grass type. I'm not quite sure how much good Blossom is. I never really used it. I think I remember using a Vileplume at one point, but only in Gen 1 though. But yeah, like I said, yeah, they lose poison type. So yeah, Blossom actually does become a pure grass type because of it. But the Sunstone well, you know, it's a new elemental stone introduced in this generation. You know, it involves some certain Pokemon, like, you know, for one of them being Sunkern, which we haven't really encountered yet, but then there's also a Gloom into Blossom. I'm not exactly sure when we'll probably be getting the Sunstone, but probably at some point. And also, one other interesting thing to note for the national park. On certain days, like I would say Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, there is a competition called the bug catching contest, and I'm going to talk about that because I will be showing that off in the next episode, because right now, by the time of this recording, it is not one of those days. I forgot what I wasn't really paying attention what day it was by the time of this recording, but overall, overall, this is not the day for the bug catching contest, so it's, you know, kind of the wrong day, but my next recording, it'll just be on that the day for that, so I can at least show that off. And I think this last year, why are you staring at me? Well, I'm not staring at you or anything like that. I'm not really being agree with that. Well, okay. For one thing, you're 11 years old anyway. So, well, I mean, the trainer himself is 11 years old. So, I mean, maybe there wouldn't be anything wrong with that though. So, anyway, so here we have last Chrissy, and she has I think she should have a Pokemon that we haven't encountered yet after this Oddish. And what Oddish is using here is Absorb. Absorb is a move that not only deals damage, but also it basically absorbs your HP, so it'll just heal itself as well. But since Iwata is resistant to that, then didn't really restore very much. But if you use it against a super effective Pokemon, then you'll gain back a lot of HP. And it actually does have higher attacks as well. Like there's a Mega Drain. And I think in this generation introduced basically a third evolution essentially for Absorb, Giga Drain, which hopefully we'll be seeing. But it's actually like the most powerful kind of absorption. And then here we have Cubone. Oh, poor Cubone. Cubone is definitely one of the most tragic Pokemon. We've already known about it, well, seeing it in Lavender Town. It's also one of those Pokemon with good ground type coverage. It has its signature move like Bone Club or Boomerang. And which I do believe has some pretty good attacks as well. Yeah, sorry, because you're cute. Yeah. Anyway, I guess that should be just about it for the rest of the national park. Some of the trainers here will actually be talking about the feature for Gen 2. Like something about printing here. They were talking about how you can actually use the Game Boy printer for on the Game Boy Color. I think just on the Game Boy Color. So if you want to print some certain mail or some pictures, and you can just use the Game Boy printer for that. And they actually utilize it quite a lot for some of these, or like some of the features. Well, some things you can do, like from the Pokedex or some mail and whatnot. Unfortunately, though, since I can't really use it, I'm playing this on the Virtual Console, so it renders it impossible for it to be able to use the Game Boy printer. So I can actually just go over the stones there. It actually took me by surprise just by going over those, because I thought it was just a solid object. But no, it turns out you actually walk over them and just go over to the sides of it, get some items as a result. First time I experienced that, I was like, wow, you can actually do that? It's actually amazing how you can actually just discover some things. You just be surprised by those. It actually took me a while to realize that, actually. And so what we just got was TM28 that contained Dig. Dig is also, it's a real good ground type attack. It's actually a 2-turn attack where basically it starts with your Pokemon digging a hole, and in the next turn then it'll attack the Pokemon itself. But it has, I think it has like 80 power, so if you want some good ground type coverage, you're gonna teach your Pokemon that. I think I'd do that right now though. Yeah, that's where I'll go and do that. I decided to teach Dig to Iwata because because I've realized that only Daruk has ground type attacks, and by that point, Daruk is very much over level, especially ever since having to encounter some Pokemon like Electric type Pokemon, because Electric types only weakness is are ground types. And so, since only Daruk knows ground type attacks, and I didn't want to use Daruk too much, especially since he's already over level by this point. So I at least wanted to give Iwata some good ground type coverage. So that's the reason why I want to teach to that. You can also use Dig in the overworld as well. Like you can also use that to escape dungeons. So if you don't have any escape ropes, then the Dig is also a good alternative to escaping from dungeons. Or at least only in caves and whatnot. Well, I think just in caves. Or you could also use the use Dig in Sprout Tower, which is actually weird because it's supposed to be a tower, and it would have been otherwise impossible to use Dig. So what kind of logic is that? And this is an Ice Berry. I think Ice Berries they cure burns. I think, or was it or do they heal or did he heal ice or frozen status? I guess I remember because I'm a lot more used to later gens where they actually changed names of the berries to make them sound more natural. So I kind of forgot what the I mean they actually gave them the names of the berries to make them sound more obvious, but Gen 3 and onwards gave the berries more distinct names. So it's actually weird going back to this gen and seeing how different they were. So I might have looked up a little later. So. Anyway, so this is our first time encountering Psychics. Psychics, of course, well, they use Psychic-type Pokemon. So, yeah, it's there's not much explanation needed. And this is our first time encountering Abra. Abra is, at least for their first stage, they only know Teleport. But they should know some other decent moves like Hidden Power, but for now, their move pool is a little weak. Abras right now, when you're battling them, are very much useless at the moment because since they only know Teleport, and they can't really escape from battle at all because they can't run from trainer battles. They can only flee from wild battles though. Well, if you're using them, but of course, if you're trying to catch them, then that makes them a pain in the ass because they always teleport away from you. But despite how much of a pain in the ass that it is to catch Abra, they are very well worth it though, especially when they evolve to Kadabra right here. Kadabra, I think, evolves at level 20, I believe, which of course is level 15, so therefore it's illegal. But yeah, once it evolves to Kadabra, then it's able to learn some better Psychic type attacks like Confusion. And honestly though, well, here's where I'm actually using Dig, but and that's because Nightshade fainted, but because at that point Nightshade's very much over level, so I want to level up more, but. Thankfully, though, I should still be able to use a Nightshade more for the next gym, because the next gym will specialize in Ghost-type Pokemon, so hopefully I can be able to have Nightshade with me. So, anyway, so here's what I talk about, at least with the Abra line, or at least for Kadabra. So yeah, back in Gen 1, Abra, or at least the Abra line, or I should talk about Kadabra in its evolved form. They are, without a doubt, the most broken Pokemon in existence because they're, with them being Psychic types, and Psychic Pokemon were the most broken kind of types to use, especially with with Kadabra or its evolved form. But since the introduction to Dark and Steel types, they kind of got nerfed a bit. But they're still great Pokemon to use, and they do have a high special attack set and also good special defense and a great move pool that as well with using Psychic. Their only kind of weakness is, of course, with the physical defense. So, if you just using kind of physical-based moves against them, then you can just easily one-shot them. So that's one thing to keep in mind about for the Abra lines. But if you catch it heavy to your team, it's very well worth it, especially once it evolves to Kadabra. So yeah, it's actually some good Psychic-type coverage for that there. And I think there's just one more trainer of interest, and then afterwards, there's just that one obstacle we go to. And this here is Tangela. Interestingly enough, back in Gen 1, Tangela was the only pure grass type, because all the other grass type Pokemon were part of poison type, so there was that. Tangela is, well, it does have some certain vine-based moves, like, with Vine Whip and Constrict, and also Wrap. But with since the introduction for Gen 2, then that makes Tangela not being the only grass type anymore. Because there's like well, the only pure grass type, because there's like more pure grass type Pokemon that there is. And yeah, I guess that's just about like pretty much what there's there's to say about taking a look. I think it is pretty defensive as well, but I haven't really looked at much of its stats. And I think this is one of the trainers that will give you some items if you register the phone number. So I think we might have to delete another one. I think I went ahead and deleted Ralph or Fisher Ralph because he's one of the trainers that'll give you information on swarming Pokemon. But I'll still re-register him anyway once I decide to catch some Pokemon. But I'll probably have to keep the hiker's number, Hiker Anthony, because he also gives you info on these rare Pokemon. Alright, so we talked to the girl here. This is Flower Shop's Floria, and she's saying that if you, like, once she's sprinkled some water on this weird tree that's over there, for some reason the tree started dancing. So, for some reason, back in Gold and Silver, after you just get the playing badge from Whitney, if you talk to the flower shop's, or the flower shop owner, then she gives you the squirt bottle. But for some reason in Crystal, she actually doesn't give that to you right away. Because what you have to do is that you have to go to the tree first and talk to the girl that's there, and then she'll go back over to the flower shop, and then you have to backtrack over to the over to Goldenrod City to the shop itself, and then talk to the girl first, and then the owner next, and then she'll give you the squirt bottle. So I don't know why they make you have to backtrack over to Goldenrod City because of it, and it's the only kind of version to do so because not even the remakes do that. But now that we have the squirt bottle, we'll go ahead and just squirt in that weird tree, and then Lycanus try to attack it. Oh, it's a Pokemon! Wait, what? Could it be a grass type? Actually, no, it's not, though. Okay, we don't want to see you twerking here. This is Sudowoodo. Sudowoodo, well, you know, for a lot of people mistake it for a grass type kind of Pokemon because, you know, it's plant-based, but actually, it's not. And as for it implies here that it doesn't really like the water and attacks because of it, it's because it's not a grass type. Like I said, it's actually a rock type. That's named, you know, Sudowoodo because, you know, it's being a pseudo kind of wood. Okay, well, that's kind of bad there, so... Anyway, so Sudowoodo, this is actually your only encounter with the Pokemon itself, because if you were to defeat it right away, then you won't be able to catch it again. So that's the reason why I want to catch it. I'm not really going to add it to my team, though, but I just want to catch it anyway, just for the sake of a Pokedex completion, or just getting its Pokedex entry. But let's talk about Sudowoodo itself. Sudowoodo is it's pretty defensive, and it knows some. It's at least pretty decent rock type kind of coverage. It is very slow though. I'm not sure how much slower it is than the Geodude line, but of course, if you want to, but if you want some good rock type coverage, then Sudowoodo might be a good pick for you. I think you want to make sure that you want to catch a male Sudowoodo as well, so that we're there, you know, for the sake of breeding and all that, because I think breeding mechanics were different in Gen 2, even when you have Ditto. And so I use my only 2 Great Balls. Well, you know, I only have 2 Great Balls for this one, and also the Lure Ball. So Sudowoodo, the imitation Pokemon. If a tree branch shakes when there is no wind, it's a Sudowoodo, not a tree. It hides from the rain. So, see, I was actually lucky enough to actually catch catch a Sudowoodo with one of the 2 Great Balls that I see there. But you know, but that's why I actually save the game first, because I actually cut this part out and save the game because, you know, I actually at least wanted to catch that Sudowoodo. Sorry if you're hearing the noise there. That was just me adjusting myself from my video chair. I actually like how they kind of parody this in Scarlet and Violet, where like if you you face off against the grass type gym leader Brassius, and like he has a Sudowoodo, and then he's about to terrestrialize his own Sudowoodo to a grass type, and he calls it Truly Woodo. I actually kind of find it funny though, where like it's basically supposed to be a parody of how players have mistaken for a grass type. So you know, with him being a grass type specialist, so it's neat, nice little humorous little parody there. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and give this Pokemon over to the one holding the mail. For what I found out, you can actually still keep that Pokemon and just give him the mail. But if you give the Pokemon itself with the mail, then it actually disappears. But then again, there's just a bunch of other Spear that I can actually still catch. And he gave us a TM50, which contains a Nightmare. So like if your opponent goes to sleep and then you use Nightmare on it, then it actually drains away the HP, and then it restores your own HP as well. Oh, and also the bike shop just called us, so that way there he'll give us the bike for free. So yay! Our bike is ours now, and so we don't have to pay for it. We got it for free! Yay! I like it when they do that. The other guy gave us the TM for Rock Smash. Rock Smash is it's a fighting type move. It doesn't have like the biggest of kind of power, but in battle, once you use Rock Smash against your opponent, it has a chance of your opponent's having its defense lowered. So it does get more powerful because of it. And it's also used in the overworld as well, where like if you see these breakable rocks, then you can use Rock Smash. Well, if your Pokemon knows Rock Smash, then it'll be able to break those boulders. Starting with Gen 4, it actually they make it to an HM move that actually essentially replaces Flash. So I guess there's that. So I guess it's better than Flash in a way. So I went back over to New Barktown because we want to go ahead and complete a little side quest with showing Professor on the Togepi that hatched from the egg, just to get that out of the way. And then he just gave us an Everstone. What that does, if your Pokemon holds the Everstone, then it actually prevents the Pokemon from evolving. So if you want to teach it some earlier moves early on, then you can just have it hold the Everstone, and then you can just evolve it later. So anyway, so that should do it for this video with everything else done. So next time we'll Let's Play Pokemon Crystal, I'm going to show off the bug catching contest first on that certain day, and then we're going to go ahead and make our way over to the next town where the next gym is. So I will see you guys then.